Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. It is Monday, November 23rd, 2020, and this is the Geeks 5-Hour Podcast. I am your host, the one, the only, the infamous, the sometimes doing retarded and stupid shit. Doing mostly stupid shit, actually, yeah. I am King Mexico, also known as Jesse Goku. And joining me, as always, is the man with the plan, Jace, who has not found the tamale lady yet, so the quest continues.
I don't know if I can just order some.
No,
from
you
a
must,
Mexican. I'm
you
a
must
Mexican.
find her.
Restaurant.
You must find her.
I mean, it could be a tamale lady.
Oh, that's right. Fuck, I didn't think about that. And the one, and what did I call you? The man with the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
God, Goku.
Off
Jeez.
day today, huh?
Yeah. No, because
You've
we started
messed it
talking about
up the
tamales.
last
You
3
fucked me up.
times.
No, I didn't fuck up on Friday. No, I didn't fuck up on Friday.
I think you might have.
No, I did.
Of course, I'm
Friday
usually
was pretty
wrong.
good. Yeah, you fucking are. The man with the plan. Oh, and the host with the most, who runs the skinny, Sonic.
Hi.
Whoa.
Who is
Whoa.
this clean-cut individual?
I know. Who the fuck is this?
The suave
Yeah.
motherfucker over
Get
here.
off
Yeah,
our
so-
podcast.
And the funny thing is, my dog got a haircut too, but he's all fluffy and floofy. I'm like, oh my god, it's so adorable.
Corporate Sonic. Nice
That's
to
right.
meet you.
Corporate Sonic. He's a man. It's all business now.
Yeah.
He has a bulleted list now. It's not just a dry erase board.
That's right. All right. Shout out to our commenters, Pachinko and Carmen. They both said hello. Hi, y'all.
Hello. How you doing?
Greetings.
Matsuri's not our ex. It's not even close. We
One
just
night fling.
we just report on Matsuri because they do a lot of shady and stupid shit.
Matsuri's like the friend of your friend that you have to always
It's that.
deal with.
It's like you throw a party at a con, and Matsuri's that one person that found out you had a party but wasn't invited, but they still show up. He lost his white hair. No, he still got some of his white hair. Gray hair right there.
Yeah. Should I use the flashlight that will guarantee the blind people?
Unless you've been pulled over by the police a lot.
Ark of the Covenant. Oh, God.
All right. So what's up, Sonic? What's going on with the skinny today?
All right. Well, the skinny, it is pretty short and sweet. For starters, The Last of Us is getting a TV series ordered by HBO that will be for both the channel and for HBO Max. Attached to the project are some of the staff members who worked on the game, such as the creative director and also the writer of the movie Chernobyl. So we don't know any details yet. They haven't started filming, so we know it's gonna happen. Will it be as big as in the movie as the games? We will find out. Robert Englund, otherwise known as Freddy Krueger in The Nightmare on Elm Street, will be joining season 4 of Stranger Things.
Woo!
That is pretty
Nice.
exciting, actually. Really exciting.
You could tell by Jace's face the excitement.
I'm more of a Jason Voorhees, so.
Oh, that's fine. All right. So the sequel to the classic Eddie Murphy movie Coming to America will be coming not to theaters. It will go straight to Amazon Prime Video on March of 2021. So the long-awaited sequel won't be hitting theaters. Instead, it will go straight to streaming. And for those who are fans of the show Black Lightning, unfortunately, it has been canceled after 4 seasons. Then again, they were planning to set up for a spin-off by the CW. So unfortunately, after 4 seasons, it has come to an end. Speaking of superheroes, the sequel to Black Panther will be start filming in July. There have been reports that Shuri will have a more prominent role in this movie. We don't know how they're gonna address, Chadwick Boseman's absence due to his unfortunate death. So it'll be a wait and see. Let's see. Now I get the tiny board. All right. So for those fans of Tomb Raider, good news is there will be a sequel. Bad news is, well, depending on who you talk to, it's on mobile in form of Tomb Raider Reloaded. That will be coming out next year, as announced by Square Enix earlier today. Speaking of Square Enix, after a proper sequel to The World Ends With You will be coming in 2021 for PS4 and the Switch. A lot of people have been waiting for that, especially how big it was on the DS here in the US, mobile in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Japan, My Hero Academia has been teasing a new project, but a lot of people, it kind of got leaked out that it will be a third movie. So basically we'll have a third movie for My Hero Academia. No details have been given out yet. All we know it'll be a third movie, and they released several teaser posters, little tease. We don't know what could it be. It could be some partners. Could it be new attire? Stay tuned. And unfortunately, we will have to end the skinny with some sad news. David Hemblen, who was known for voicing Magneto in X-Men the anime series back in the 90s, unfortunately passed away yesterday at the age of 79. No details been given, but it's a pretty tragic loss, especially a lot of notable voice actors we've lost for the last few days. And unfortunately, so that is the skinny. Sorry to have to end it on a bad note right there.
It's like start with a bad note. Maybe.
Well, I would have, but then it'd been all depressed and nobody would watch. And it's like, okay, I'm just talking to ourselves.
Sandwich. It's like a compliment sandwich. You got to put the bad thing in the middle.
Yeah, you got veggies first. What's up, Chad? What's going on? Courtesy of Chad, one of our followers on the podcast, he did send us a link to talk about briefly.
Oh.
So, IkiCon has just announced Concrete by IkiCon. So, pretty much, I didn't.
I know what it is.
What is it? Because
okay, so
I barely clicked on the link.
No worries. I'll do it. I'll just explain it to y'all. Okay, so as many of you know, IkiCon will not be happening New Year's Day weekend. Right choice, obviously, due to what's going on. But earlier this morning, IkiCon sent out an email saying, "Hey, we may not have any cons going on, but they will have this thing called a con crate, which is like a little package. Pretty much, it's kind of like a loot crate, but it's not a monthly subscription. It's like a one-time thing. Basically, it will contain items. Notably, it will include the badge that would have been for this year's con, a IkiCon mask, hoodies, gifts, goodies, and a mystery item. Let's see. Let me take a look at the price here.
Severed hand.
Actually, that would be funny, a severed hand. Imagine you see a severed hand in your box, and it's like, hey, why is it leaking out blood? Did you order a cake? I'm like,
it was a handout.
Yeah, it was quite a handout. Okay, so it would actually be in multiple tiers. There's actually a 3-tier packages. So the first one, it is the basic con crate. For $39.99, you get free shipping, 5% off registration for the next IkiCon, a non-attendee badge, a lanyard, a program guide, an IkiCon face mask, and a mystery anime item. And then the second tier is a premium for $60. You get free shipping, 10% off everything that was in the basic, along with a official shirt, a mini poster, a convention sticker, and a Japanese snack. And for the last one, the Plus Ultra Premier Con Crate for $99.99, $100, you get everything, but the difference is 20% off the registration for next year for the next IkiCon. You also get a hoodie, collectible buttons, and a mystery guest autograph. Ooh.
If it's from Jace, I'm gonna be pissed.
I was a mystery guest.
Yeah, you kind of gave it away. Maybe it was me. Maybe
maybe it was you. Who the fuck are we kidding?
All right, so those are the three. They're available now on ikicon.com, and basically they will last for the next 40 days, so pretty much until the end of the year.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, and I think they're following the steps like DragonCon. They did that same thing. Like, hey, you were able to get the badge and like the shirt and all that stuff.
Nerds love their stuff.
Nerds love shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have probably made all this stuff ahead of time anyway.
Yeah, so they're like, hey, we might as well.
Either you hold on to it, or you ship it off to a third world country,
or you give it, or you sell it in a loot crate box, but call it concrete.
It's a good idea.
Also, another thing to talk about briefly.
A mask in there. That's pretty cool too.
Yeah. Another thing to talk about briefly are two major things that happened last night on WWE Survivor Series. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's that one time of the year where Raw and SmackDown go head to head, despite the fact that they fucking fought against each other like 4 or 5 other times throughout the year. Two major things happened last night.
Hashtag Vince logic.
Separate them, but keep them together.
The biggest story is the Undertaker's farewell.
Damn, pal.
30 years in the 30-year long career has finally come to an end as the Undertaker officially retired last night. The Undertaker did say in an interview that his body can no longer do what he loves to do, and he wanted to retire sooner rather than later, because he's afraid of becoming a parody of himself, just like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair back when they were in TNA trying to wrestle with 20, 30-something-year-olds, and it was horrible, and you're just better off getting kicked in the nuts.
Macho Man was there too.
The second biggest story of
Probably
the
one
night,
match.
which is actually very surprising, and a lot of people didn't catch this, and a lot of people did, so it's kind of weird. Vince McMahon broke one of his rules.
He said WWF.
And said WWF on live TV, and fans lost it.
Really? I didn't know anybody. They were like, oh, shit, he said it. That's it.
Right. So WWE Chairman Vince McMahon has not said the letters WWF, especially on live television, since it was changed to WWE back in 2002.
Because due to a lawsuit,
right,
and World Wildlife Fund.
Right. They lost the lawsuit to World Wildlife Fund in Europe.
Yeah, thank the pandas for that.
Thank the fucking pandas.
They did get a cool slogan out of it, though. They said, "Get the F out."
Yeah, get the fucking F out.
Which is pretty cool.
They pretty much told the pandas to get the fuck out and leave us alone.
Sue me, I don't care. I'm nearly dead anyway.
Sue me, damn it.
For those of you wondering, you thought The Undertaker was already retired. The Undertaker has had some matches that were so bad, he wanted to have one final match that was good.
A proper retirement.
Right, because he didn't want to end his career on a bad note, like some of the other wrestlers.
Yeah, I thought he retired like last WrestleMania or something.
I know, that's what we thought too.
This past WrestleMania 36 was his last fight.
Essentially, his last match.
Because it was cinematic, and that was the only way he could.
It was gonna work.
They could cut out all the shit where he fucks up.
Actually, during the fight, when in the fight he punches a window, and he's bleeding, and you think that's fake, but it's actually real, and they had to stop filming and get the bleeding to stop, but they kept it on there.
Yeah, and also according to the documentary they did on him, The Last Ride, he was filming that day as well because he was dealing with a family issue. His brother passed away earlier that day of a heart attack, so it was pretty hard on him too. Yeah, he had that mentally going into filming that whole match and all that.
Undertaker's mentality is punch the window, start bleeding, and react to son of a bitch.
How dare this window cut me?
For real, that was an actual reaction to the cut. It seems it was so good. It was like, man, that's actually really good acting from the Undertaker. It was fucking legit.
Well, this is inconvenient.
There's so there's also rumors and speculation backstage at WWE that Vince McMahon, despite being emotional, has come to terms with the retirement and the Undertaker and has no plans whatsoever to bring him back because, one, the Undertaker's body can no longer do it, and he's afraid that if Undertaker continues to wrestle, he might become permanently crippled.
Yeah, he almost did in that one match against Goldberg in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
But Goldberg's such a safe wrestler. No one ever gets hurt with him.
Goldberg gave himself a concussion before he even went out there.
Because he's a fucking moron.
Yeah, because he banged his head on the fucking...
He did. That's why he was bleeding from his fucking forehead.
And that was like in 100-degree weather in Saudi Arabia.
Right. So in fear for...
Concussion? Hell yeah.
What does it say? Oh, in fear for the Undertaker's health and personal well-being, Vince McMahon has come to terms with his retirement and has graciously accepted the fact that Undertaker will not be coming back to the WWE in a wrestling athletic capacity. He could come back as a cameos.
Any appearance or anything like that. If anything, obviously due to what's going on with the world, there was no crowd per se. It just did. Obviously, I'm sure he would have loved to have a crowd, just being there. And because originally Survivor Series, apparently it was scheduled to take place in Dallas. That was the original plan before all this happened. So it's kind of a shame that.
Hell, we probably still would have done it.
Yeah. Obviously they still would have done it.
But did you watch it last night? It was fucking weird.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what it was.
It felt like most of it was a waste of time. And I'll explain why. And people are like, it wasn't a waste of time because they had everyone that was like close to him come out, and they all got their entrances, they all got their music, they got everything. They all come out to the ring,
as soon as they did that tribute, and then when they came back, you see fucking Vince.
They're all gone.
himself.
They all fucking disappear.
It's like, what the fuck?
They all disappear, and Vince is there, and Vince is trying to talk, and Vince is like getting fucking old. Like you can tell, like he's not the same Vince he was 20 years ago.
Yeah, he's 75
chair
years old.
shots.
He's 75 years old.
And he tried to do the Undertaker, but he could not do it anymore. Vince is getting up there in age. He's in his mid 70s. He's close to 80. It's only a matter of time before Vince McMahon has. They've already said that Vince McMahon will die in his office before he stops working. He's an elderly. He's a senior citizen that runs on 3 to 4 hours of sleep every night.
He works out. He likes Oreos. He doesn't like people who sneeze. He didn't know what a burrito was until one of the writers told him about it.
He doesn't watch television.
He doesn't watch television. That's why he doesn't pay attention to
He's
NXT.
on television.
But he doesn't watch anything. Like he's always working.
No, yeah. Oh, about the whole burrito thing. If you want to hear this, actually, it's a funny story.
I thought it was. Before you tell the story, I have a question.
Okay.
I thought it was. Was it he doesn't like burritos, or he didn't know what a burrito was?
He didn't know what a burrito was, so you want to hear the story? Here's how it goes. So it was that episode. It was a scene from SmackDown. So it was one where, do you remember Big Show and Eddie Guerrero had this rivalry? Big Show had to go to the bathroom midway through the match because Eddie Guerrero spiked his burrito. So apparently, when one of the writers told Vince that, Vince was shocked, not because of what Eddie did, but because he didn't know what a burrito was. And this man was in his like
50s, 60s.
Yeah, late 50s, early 60s, and he had no idea what a burrito was.
That's the poor people's food. He didn't eat that.
And yeah, he's a big fan of Oreos. He said he will fucking eat a shit ton of Oreos. That's like his go-to.
You gotta
snack.
for someone that's for someone that
sleeves gone.
for someone that age, who's that old, he's in great shape. Vince,
He works out a lot.
he works out a lot. He's in great shape.
Oh, you took a lot of steroids.
You know he doesn't fucking eat. No, but after they ban steroids.
Yeah, but that stuff fucks you up. So when you get older, it's the
No,
only way.
but the other wrestlers can't even fucking walk. Vince can still walk. Vince still takes bumps.
Obviously in a reduced capacity
he taught what's his face during WrestleMania. He jumped off of like a fucking.
Oh yeah. So here, okay. So if you want to know the context of what we're talking about, this year's WrestleMania had Rob Gronkowski.
That's his fucking
played
name.
for the Patriots, but he's now playing for the Buccaneers. But between all that, he was hosting WrestleMania. So in rehearsal, there was a spot where he's supposed to jump off this balcony, and then Rob was kind of scared to do it, but it wasn't until Vince showing him, because he's crazy. If he's crazy enough to give somebody the idea, he's willing to do it just to show him, hey, don't worry, you'll be fine. He does it. As soon as he lands, he goes, see, there you go.
You gotta understand.
It's like this surreal thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying Vince didn't take steroids, but like Vince is a tough fucking old man.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably a lot tougher than Gronk, dude. Gronk could sneeze too hard and pull his shoulder. Like, he's a fragile big
There was
guy.
the WrestleMania. I'm sorry, Royal Rumble. Was it 2004?
2005, where he tore both his quads and he sat down. He looked like a child.
He tore both his quads because you could see him get up and then he falls back.
He falls back because that was not the finish. It was Batista. Batista was supposed to go over, but unfortunately the botch, because both of them will end at the same time. So Vince got mad about that. He runs. He tries to slide in. And as soon as he gets
quads getting in.
Yeah.
So
and then he's basically arguing while he's sitting down.
No, Diana, you didn't miss the recap of Anime Matsuri. We have.
No, we're gonna get to that.
We're gonna get to that. We're just doing some recap of wrestling because last night was a pay-per-view and the Undertaker retired. Do you watch Sonic? Do you watch the YouTube channel called Inside the Ropes?
Yeah.
I watched the Edge story about that, and he's like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "Oh
Yeah.
no!" When I got eliminated, I was on my way to the back. I saw both of them fall out at the same time. He's like, "You can't write this shit." He's like, "I saw both of them fall out," and I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna get the hell out of Dodge." And here comes Vince power walking, going, "What the fuck?" And then he gets in there and he's sitting down, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" That I'm in the back, and everybody's like, "That's really why is Vince sitting?" That's really weird. And they're like, holy shit, he tore both his quads. He tore both his fucking quads. And they're like, all right, everybody, get out of the fucking hallway. Vince is coming. Vince refused medical help. He refused to let them stretch him out of there or help him or carry him. No, he walked to the fucking limo and had them take him to the nearest fucking hospital. They said that he shouldn't have even been able to do that.
Just out of pure spite.
Out of
rage.
pure
Maybe pure
fucking
adrenaline too.
It was pure. What the fuck?
Have you pulled your quad before?
Yeah, ask Triple H. He's done it. He
Yeah.
tore both of them.
You can't
See,
fucking
tearing
walk,
it,
dude.
pulling it hurts. Tearing it, I can only imagine, is so much worse. And he does not react. He just gets pissed. He doesn't like in agony. He's
He
just
looks
sitting
at his
there
quads
angry.
and he's like, "You're fired.
How dare you quit on me? You can't quit on me."
Do you know who the?"
Goku had a stroke.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, did he just stop in the middle of?
Got
No,
canceled.
the sound of my headphones just cut off.
Oh, that's very distracting.
No, for real. It was just like I had a fucking joke and a punchline, and I was like, "You're fired, headphones. Do you know who the fuck I am? I'm Vincent Kenny McMahon. Damn it.
WWF.
I bought my competition. And I'm going to buy Matsuri and run him to the ground."
Such a mania.
Well, never mind. They're already doing that. Anyways, so that's wrestling for you in a nutshell about Vince and Undertaker. Emotional, yes. Okay, so briefly we're going to talk about Anime Matsuri since Dan is here, because we might as well bring it up. So for those of you that don't know, actually everybody fucking knows that watches this channel at this point, Anime Matsuri has yet to issue refunds to anybody requesting refunds for their Anime Matsuri passes for this year. Now, when Anime Matsuri announced it's postponed, they announced that everybody that wanted a refund will receive one within 90 days of request. If not, your badge will be rolled over and you would get 2 free badges. You get the 2020 badge and the 2021 badge. For an addition, for an additional $3 fee.
Actually, it's for 2021 and 2022.
Wow. But that's only for an additional $3 fee. $5 if you want it shipped. $10. $10 if you want it shipped with a tracking number, and $15 in a group. $20 if you want it shipped in a group with a tracking number. $25 if you don't want sexual harassment jokes from the sexual harassment text from the owners.
He will photocopy his penis and send it.
Yeah, hey, send me a picture of your Virginia.
What the fuck? Bubs and Virginia.
Anime Matsuri, it's been over 120 days, and Anime Matsuri has yet to issue not any, but a lot of refunds. There are a lot of people still demanding refunds, and they said that it's been 120 days, and they have not received anything. They received messages saying that they would get their refunds over PayPal, but they have not received anything since. Not any messages, no contact information, nothing at all. They're kind of left in the dark, and Anime Matsuri is continuing to announce festivals, the convention, events, and guests, and all kinds of other things that cost money. So, money. So people are speculating that Matsuri is trying to keep people's money and just give them a badge next year, just so they don't have to fork over any refunds, so they can use that money for more stuff, more events, more guests. That is speculation. That is not true. I mean, it's not proven true. I don't know if it's true or not. It's just something I had heard. It's in the the rumor with a grain of salt, that they're trying to keep people's money for the following event.
I mean, if you're running a business, giving someone money back is not a good idea for business.
Right. But if somebody demands a refund for a product that you have failed to provide, then they have the right to get that money back.
But what if we had technical errors and we didn't get your request on time?
Honestly, I would, for the people trying to get a refund, I would dispute it with your bank. See if you can talk to your bank and see what they can do.
You could probably do that, and also some were suggesting, hey, why don't you like threaten legal action? It's already been done before. That's the thing. And then it wasn't. If you remember, we shared those screenshots of like that person who posted it on,
who had conversations with John
about it, and it wasn't until
the runaround.
It wasn't until that person threatened legal action that they said, okay, it's being processed.
Right.
Yeah.
Matsuri has been become known to do a lot of shady shit and a lot of shady practices
over the past decade.
Right. So Anime Matsuri, at this point, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, at this point, it sounds like a running joke, but it's really funny.
And it is a bit of a running joke for us to report on them.
Well, it's obvious, but if they don't give you back your money and you just get frustrated from not getting any response back, but it was like, we'll give you these 2 free badges. Well, you're not going to go next year because you're tired of that convention.
Technically,
so
they're not free. Technically, you still have to pay a fee.
Well, that's if you want your physical badge from this year. If you want your physical badge from this year, because I'll send you that badge just so you have it as your collection.
The fee is for both badges.
Which they can't send you the badge for next year until it's next year because it's not made yet.
No, but next year when you go to pick up your badge, it's a $3 fee. I'm talking about the 2021 badge.
Pretty sure it was just for the 2021.
It was for both. That's what it
was.
Yep.
Oh, well,
remember, because we even made fun of them.
Right.
Because we even made fun of them for it.
I thought it was just for them to mail you your badge from this year so you could have it. Because if you still wanted your badge from this year, we'll mail it to you. This is the cost for it. I didn't know.
It's for both badges.
Yeah, it's unlike Dragon Con where they'll just ask you, hey, if you want to buy your if you had a 2020 badge, but if you don't want to roll it over, if you want to keep it as a souvenir, you can let us know.
Right, a good convention. Okay, well,
and their excuse was because they have to print extra badges. Since instead of doing 1, they're doing 2. They need to cover the cost for material, ink, whatever.
You don't have to print extra badges. You're literally printing the same number of badges.
Well, no, because when you go pick up your badge, you get 2 badges. You get the 2020 and the 2021.
Right, but you pay for the 2020 badge, so that one's already cost. That's not a cost that you can account for.
Right,
so
but because they have to give you 2. They're. I'm not trying to argue, but they're fucking. Their train of thought is okay. We're giving you 2 badges
for the price of 2.
You already paid, but we just need $3 extra.
Right.
It's like a monkey's paw.
Yep.
They're trying to say like you get your badge this time, and then you get your next year's badge for free. It just costs you $3. Well, technically that's not free. So
listen here, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, listen here. We're going to charge you $3 extra because the owners of the convention, John, needs that extra money for his OnlyFans subscription. I mean, to cover the cost for printing extra badges
for hair plugs.
You know what? To be fair, there are some places. I'll give you an example. I bought an item that was like $2, but the shipping was like the price I was regularly.
That's the thing. It's like buy something
similar to that. Similar
$10 with $5 shipping, or buy something for $15. Free shipping.
There is a Dragon Ball Z gaming chair that I want. Surprise, surprise.
The way.
And it's from it's officially licensed and everything, but it's from the fucking UK. It's from the fucking UK, and it was like $200. I'm like, fuck yeah, wow, that's a steal.
That's a deal.
$160 shipping. Fuck.
Fuck.
Now it's free shipping, but it's 3 something.
Yeah, it's
that's the Black Friday joke too. It's like buy it at 300. It was 600 on Black Friday, so they dropped the price even though they just increased it.
But Matsuri,
this is the dumbest. Oh, God,
it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense from our fucking point of view because every time we say, okay, we're gonna stop talking about Matsuri,
it's coming back on.
I just hate that they're gonna get money from this year. They shouldn't get money. They shouldn't profit from this year at all. But they will.
They are. They're profiting already.
They are, and they will, and they'll continue to do it because the people who don't get their refunds now are going to be too lazy to fight it.
Is it really profiting, though, if you're hemorrhaging money?
Well,
I mean...
John will always be in debt, so whatever money he can get...
And that's the crazy thing. So, based on what I've heard... So when most businesses are hemorrhaging money, the owners will cut their pay to the point to where they almost don't receive
anything.
Right. They almost don't pay themselves. Like they'll pay the bills, but they won't pay themselves for. So they don't have any extra money. So they cut their salary first, and then they start going with the employees. Anime Matsuri does not pay 90% of its staff.
There's nothing to cut.
But the owners do receive their own checks, and they could argue all day, well, we need to live, we need to buy groceries, we got kids to take care of. Right. I understand that. But they're paying themselves like a good amount of fucking change while their fucking convention is dying. just like my hopes and dreams.
Just
Just
in the
think,
chapter
someday,
Goku's dreams.
Goku, this convention will fail, and then we can all have a celebration.
I just want this. I don't want the convention
happen
to
eventually.
fail. I want new
Convention to do
owners.
right? Yeah.
That's
And
why I
new
mean,
management.
it'll fail. John will fail. Like they'll crash. The name will live on. It'll be under new ownership, but the leadership itself will all be gone. And that is a day we can celebrate. It'll happen eventually.
I
It could be
wish, and I really want to believe that, dude. But the fucking anime Matsuri followers, they are so dead set on Matsuri just existing.
It's to the point where they think that's the only convention here in Houston. I'm like, no, there's other conventions in Houston. You know, there's Comicpalooza. Sure, it's mostly comics, but there's a lot of anime stuff there too. And also Delta A. Sure, it's small, but you know, it's a con. And there was another one that was supposed to happen this past August, Anime Houston, which was actually that was supposed to happen, but it got moved to March. And obviously that was going to be
But
it was going to rise up and all that. You know?
That's one of the issues with the congoers for anime cons with Comicpalooza. They think Comicpalooza is only comics.
Right. So is San Diego Comic-Con. People think that too, but like, no, it's actually
It has a lot of anime stuff.
Yeah, a lot of anime companies, they would announce their stuff at San Diego Comic-Con or at Compalooza or, you know, those kind of cons.
Comic books, Comic Cons, comic book conventions are more universal than anime conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't want to accept that.
Yeah,
and I understand
also,
that because
and also like the other way around, anime cons they always have like superheroes like Marvel. You see a bunch of Spider-Man cosplayers, you see a lot of Avengers cosplay. You know that's it's fine. It's like
I don't know what Colt
way.
45ers are.
the Colts, right? No,
No.
I don't know either.
I was gonna say, is that a baseball team?
No, that sounds like a gun.
I was reading this. For a second, I thought like it was saying Geeks 5 Everers, but like
yeah, I saw
that's
5
45ers,
Everers.
but it's literally Colt 45, like COLT, like a cult of people. So like, I don't.
It's kind of hard to beat anime Matsuri followers because they turned a blind eye towards all the horrible bad shit that Matsuri's doing, and their excuse is, "Oh, we don't want to focus on the past. That's in the past now. Let it go." I'm sorry,
But people
But
will
no.
still bring that shit up.
Yeah, I'm sorry you were sexually assaulted. That's in the past. We're beyond that. Oh,
Right.
Good for you, you jackass.
We moved on.
we
No,
moved on. Why can't
eventually,
you move on?
But that's the thing about it being a business that constantly hemorrhages money. They can cover it up for a while. Eventually, they will fail because that is a losing business model. And no amount of nerds in the world, unless you're a Sonic fan apparently, will change that convention failing.
You just called out 2 of our fucking followers and one of
Yeah,
our
because
hosts.
they bullied fucking the Sonic
I
movie into
didn't.
changing their thing.
All I said it was shit, and I fucking knew it was gonna be bad. And it wasn't when I heard they got delayed. I was like, okay, well they're actually gonna do something about it.
Okay.
No,
But
but
unless
it-
you are that group, you cannot bully someone into it. So time will tell. And the Colt 45 is apparently a Trump supported joke. Who's worse? I bet wagers of money that a bunch of Matsuri fans are probably. It's a Venn diagram that overlaps quite a bit,
Yeah, probably.
almost like a fucking circle. Those are the stupid people.
I mean, fucking anime Matsuri is just. I'm just really sick of their bullshit, and people they'll make any fucking excuse in the day, and I'm fucking blocked and banned from their fucking group. So whatever.
Well,
I can still see their fucking Facebook page though.
It's the biggest convention in Houston. The world can. It's not the world, so they're wrong.
They call themselves the 3rd biggest convention in the country.
Well, they're still wrong, but whatever.
Anime convention.
You can make up your number all you want. You're still wrong. But like Akon's super popular in Dallas, but I know plenty of people who don't like it.
They think
Yeah.
they're bigger than Akon.
Nah, and Akon's
I've
like,
been to Matsuri. I've been to Akon. Akon's way bigger.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I first went to Akon in 2017 when they first moved to Fort Worth, and people always tell me, this is like, people were always jokingly saying, I was expecting this to be like a lower turnout because in 2016, like it was huge and all that. I'm like, I've heard it was huge too, and I'm like, dude, Matsuri wishes they could have this many people.
They had to go to that Fort Worth area because if Akon was in an area like Matsuri is, because that center,
Mhm.
that would still feel cramped. with the amount of people that Akon packs in every
Yeah,
year.
Akon had a shit ton of
I don't know.
people.
I think Comic Palooza has more people than Akon.
I don't have been to Comic Palooza, so I
Similar.
don't know.
It's a in a way it's like similar. Yeah, I could see that. I would give Compalooza the slight edge over Akon, but for Akon for anime convention wise, yeah, it's like compared to Matsuri and all that.
Yeah,
anime.
because Comic Palooza had Danny Trejo.
It's a Matsuri.
Machete.
You were kind of like. So like when it comes to Machete, Comic Palooza had Danny Trejo. Anime Matsuri had the janitor. They cleaned the porta potties.
The janitor.
We had these 14 guests coming in from overseas. 14 of them.
3 of them
canceled
actually showed up.
Like they announce anyone who returns an email to them
For real.
as a guest. None of them fucking show up.
No, and there was this. I remember. I think it was for 2019 or for 2020. It was the one where they Matsuri announced that they were gonna have from Cowboy Bebop the voices of Spike and Faye. And then it wasn't until people on Twitter brought up, "Hey, this is all the stuff that happened to Matsuri." And then Steve Bloom, who is the voice of Spike, he's like, "Whoa, this is the first time I've ever heard of this. If any more stories come out, let me know if there's any more information about this." And then when people flooded them, but they're like, "Yeah, we're not going to be a part of this."
He opened the floodgates for it.
He pretty much just said, "Yeah, we're not going to be a part of this." The voice actress of Faye said it herself. He's like, "Yeah, we're not. Me neither. We're not going to be. We don't want any part of this." Going, I was like, "Jesus."
It was like, yeah,
Just
she was
threw
all
him
like,
under a bus,
so
pretty
that's
much.
who's been sending me dick pics. I'm not going.
Well, I asked you to send me links, and my computer crashed because there's too many, so I won't be going. I'm
I
assuming
won't be
it's
going.
That's pretty much it.
I feel like someone is going to cuck John by flirting with his wife who has more game than him.
Huh?
He thinks that somebody's gonna steal
Probably
Denise from John. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
I wonder. She's probably in it for like.
I'm joking when I say this,
Long
but I
time.
always joke that I'm pretty sure those aren't John's kids. I'm joking. Don't sue me. I'm poorer than Matsuri, and that's saying something.
They're negative. How negative are you?
Yeah, they're negative in the millions, though, but for some fucking reason, people still throw money at them.
It's like throwing money into a fire. Like it's not doing do anything.
Anime Matsuri is like those
Like,
goddamn, like, I'm a prince from this country email. Please send me money to.
Oh, the Prince of Nigeria.
Nigerian.
Yes.
The Nigerian prince. It's like
Please
that
send-
Family Guy episode where Peter and Carter actually send money, and they actually went all the way to Nigeria to get their money back. Imagine somebody did that. They went all the way to Houston just to get their money back from Matsuri.
To answer Chad's question, I don't know, because that's the Trump supporters that's more of a political aspect, and that'll pretty much be over once everything's said and done. That'll be over
Yeah.
with. That's going to come to an end where the Matsuri fans have been Matsuri fans for years and years and years and years. And
Trump
years.
fans have only been Trump fans for 4 years. So.
Right, and even then, like they're gonna shut up about Trump until the next election when he can run again.
I wonder if they'll
He'll
bring
be in
him
it.
back.
He'll be in his early 80s too.
That, and I don't think Trump's he'll bitch and he'll do something stupid. I don't think they'll bring Trump back.
And we're sorry, we'll talk about politics here, y'all.
Yes,
I think
really
the last.
I don't support any of our. I don't support any fucking politicians for the record.
Term.
I don't support any fucking politicians. They're all elderly white people that don't know what's best for the country.
They're all a bunch of cunts.
Which is ironic because our senator's the Zodiac killer.
Jesus Christ.
Is he still the senator?
Yeah,
I think
Abbott.
so. Yeah.
That's hard to tell
no.
because-
Abbott's the governor.
Because
Okay.
they'll
Ted
get
Cruz is the
elected.
senator.
Oh, right,
and
right,
then
right. You're right.
They won't get reelected, but they still stay around all the other politics. So we don't know who the fuck's in charge.
No, Denise. Like, trust me, dude. Denise is fucking hot. Like I don't know if she still is, but she was. Like,
Either John has something on her, or she has something on John.
Denise is. I don't know. I haven't seen her lately. Like,
Someone in the comment section says John is probably a simp who couldn't get a woman and his wife.
that's what the Denise is hot thing came from.
Yeah.
Okay. If anything, I don't know. If you're gonna use simp, at least know what that means, because the way you wrote that's not making any sense.
Yeah, no, but no.
Right.
Like, I haven't seen Denise lately. I haven't seen Denise in a long time, but Denise was
I saw her
hot.
a couple
Like,
of
fucking Denise
streams.
was fine. Mo says AEW is better than WWE. Not close. Nah. No, because the reason why I say that is because everything that AEW has promised, they have fallen through. Like, they said they were going to take shots at WWE. They weren't going to hire a bunch of ex-WWE superstars. They were going to have a more sport feel. They were going to have this and that, and they have not accomplished anything. Their women's division is actually a joke. WWE has the best women's division right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, kudos to TNA for revitalizing, rejuvenating the women's division, revolutionizing it. But WWE has taken that ball. They are running with it, and they are leading the pack. AEW has failed to make superstars like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks at the same level that they were in Japan in this country. And
they're actually, well, right now what they're doing with Kenny Omega is actually they're actually going bad to what he was doing in Japan, because he was doing that whole tag team thing throughout the year. My take on it is just the ranking system just doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
Like, let me get this straight. I'll give you an example with the women's division. You have someone like Nyla Rose, who was number 1 in the division, who didn't wrestle at all, get the shot. And I'm like, well, what about the other women who been competing? And they should be, I don't know. It's just, and also not just that. Another scenario is you could have, the 5th ranked guy gets to face the champion, gets to challenge the champion. I'm like, what? It's like the ranking system kind of needs it needs a lot of improvement.
It needs a lot of work. AEW has a long way to go. They're not going to beat. They're never going to beat WWE. NXT right now is the best pure wrestling product. But I digress. So no, AEW does not even compare. Besides, WWE is a multi-billion-dollar company that owns other fucking companies. They own 50% of Tap Out. So every time you buy a Tap Out T-shirt, you're giving WWE money.
I don't buy Tap Out stuff.
You need to, bitch.
No, just saying. It's all that. It's only gear I wear.
Plus, they did a deal with I don't know, like on Survivor Series, the New Day came out in their Gears of War 5 gear, and that shit looked amazing.
That is one major nerd in that group, and the other 2 are pretty big nerds.
A lot of them are nerds.
Ricochet is
Keith
big
Lee.
Ricochet's a big one, too.
Keith Lee's finishing
Big in
move
Dragon
is
Ball.
called the Spirit Bomb.
Spirit Bomb. They're big in the Dragon Ball.
I hate that he put him in his shirt.
No, it's Vince for you. That's what it is. Matt Riddle, one of his moves was named the Final Flash.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fans out there too.
Kofi and who else was it? It was Kofi and Zack Ryder did a Dragon Ball Z panel at Comic-Con with the voice actors, even though they're not even in the show. Mm-hmm. They were there, and like the audience doubled because they had 2 WWE superstars.
Popular nerds.
Even John Cena's favorite anime was Fist of North Star.
WWE Network even had like a promotional thing with was it Crunchyroll?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can get both for like one price.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
WWE has a lot
of
partnerships.
You love Crunchyroll, but you also kind of like WWE.
There you go. Crunchyroll
and that's another
Plus.
reason why
Crunchyroll Plus.
That's another reason why AEW won't be as big as WWE, because AEW has partnerships with other wrestling companies, but WWE has partnerships with like fucking Microsoft on Xbox. They literally made the New Day and put them in Gears of War 5.
Well, to be fair, AEW is part of with TNT, which is like Warner. That's why they were able to use like stuff like HBO Max. They were able to promote stuff like that.
Right.
They also work with Turner. They were also work with other big stuff. Like they even had. I mean, for a company that started like about to approach its 2 years, they've done pretty much a lot of stuff, and they're owned by like a multi-billionaire company who also owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is Shad Khan. And people say, Vince is still good. No, Vince is barely a billionaire. This guy, a multi-billionaire.
Right.
So it's kind of like Ted Turner in a way.
Right, but like Vince beat Ted, and not only that, but
TNA
TNA
who won that one.
TNA had a bigger audience than AEW when it first started.
And also, yeah, it's because wrestling isn't as big as it used to be. Like compared to the ratings 10 years ago to this now.
I will disagree with you, Mo. I will disagree with you there with your statement, because even Jim Cornette, who doesn't watch women's wrestling at all, has not only complimented the women's division WWE, he's a fan of Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, and she's really good. And she's a big Dragon Ball fan, too.
Yep.
She did like that whole Vegeta colors attire at WrestleMania. That looked really cool. And it got quiet.
Right? No. I'm reading
Look at the
I'm reading
comments.
No,
Oh,
AEW will never be like bigger than WWE. It'll never be. When WWE's push against the wall, like the whole tribal,
they somehow will come back.
the tribal chief thing is the best thing right now. And the Street Profits last night proved to me,
great match.
not only did they have a great match, but they are so fucking hype. Their promotional thing with when what's his face is doing like all the beats to all the songs.
Yeah, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins.
When Angelo does the beats, dude, that shit gave me goosebumps. That shit was so fucking good. Jim Cornette, you probably don't know who Jim Cornette is, Mo, but he's actually he was one of the head writers for
Matsuri.
for WWE in the 90s during the Attitude Era. He was also a booker for TNA. He ran Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He's actually he was voted one of the most creative minds and bookers in wrestling for a few years in a row. He runs a podcast. It's a really good podcast, but honestly, dude, the Street Profits are probably one of the best, if not the best tag team right now. Because they make anything and everything work. There's a reason why they've been tag team champions this long. They've been tag team champions a long time in a division where Vince doesn't give a shit.
Where do they go from here? They have like 1 year left of material left.
It's not.
I mean, to be fair, they do recycle a lot of storylines. Like some of the story, I'd be like, oh, I've seen this before. Oh, it's been there, done that.
Reruns.
That's pretty much how. That's how it is.
It's been like that the last couple of years because it's fucking. What's his name?
What?
Triple H.
No, fuck no, it's not Triple H.
I'm just saying names.
God damn it.
Paul Heyman.
No.
Brother Love.
Oh, Bruce Pritchard.
Who
does really funny ass impressions of Dusty Rhodes and
Yeah,
fucking his Vince impression's really funny too.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, it's his Jim Cornette impression.
He talks about when Jim Cornette lived in this one fucking city. They had like the best Italian restaurants, but he'd only eat Chef Boyardee spaghetti dinners. It's the fucking best, motherfuckers.
I love his Dusty impression. Like, and we'll get with a bad self.
Roman Reigns is finally the superstar WWE wants him to be.
And the sad part is, and like I agree with Roman said. There was this thing Roman said. Had there been a crowd, they probably would be cheering for him.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree. I feel like this is something he should have been 5 years ago.
Well, like if you haven't noticed the Thunderdome audio for the monitor,
piped in.
It's not. No, it's actually they've been trying to. At first it was, but now it's a little bit more. Like because this is something new. That like I think the NBA was doing it, but even they haven't perfected it.
Yeah,
they have fans. The NBA was
doing
from them.
Yeah, they basically got noises. I'll give you an example. The Undertaker thing yesterday, the thank you takers. That was I listened to that audio. That's straight from WrestleMania 3 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
That audio came straight from there, and I'm like, okay, you can't make this so fucking like. I know the audio it's piped in, but I'm like, can you like make it not too obvious?
This guy is literally yelling WrestleMania in the background.
Yeah, you can hear somebody saying, and I was like, what the fuck?
Like Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, the Street Profits, what they're doing with AJ Styles.
They're making the most of this whole situation with this, obviously with the pandemic and all. I'll give you another thing. AEW, all the guys, they stay in Jacksonville, which for them, Daly's place, that's their venue. That's literally next to the stadium that the Jaguars play. So obviously they had that. And there were some guys who were from like out of the country who can't, due to travel restrictions. Like for example, Pac, it took him 7 months and he finally arrived. I don't know how, but I'm pretty sure they
snuck him in.
Gave an explanation.
They snuck him in on a boat.
Maybe, I guess.
What is that? Is that a person? No, it's freight.
Harbor Freight.
No, but with wrestling with AEW just needs to be like Ring of Honor in New Japan. Just be its own thing. every time the Young Bucks take a shot at WWE, it just shows that they're fucking being like stupid and petty. It's a fucking business. What are they? Oh, we're banned from WWE. Oh my god, look at them. They're being like, no, it's a fucking business, dude. If I had a wrestling promotion, I wouldn't want your fucking faces on my fucking TV either.
AEW takes it personal.
First off,
WWE doesn't care.
yeah, WWE don't give a shit. They don't exist. First off, why the fuck are they still called the Young Bucks? They're like almost 40.
You fucking 50
They need
years
to be
old.
called the middle-aged Bucks. I have kids Bucks. I drive a fucking minivan Bucks.
Okay, we get it, Goku. You don't like the Young Bucks.
Okay,
We call them
really
the car.
fucking dope.
We call them the carpool crew.
It's like-
Because
Carpool
they
crew.
don't fucking sell.
well, they did. Well, I'll tell you this. I will tell you this. The pay-per-view they did with, they did a match against FTR. One of them went in with a, one of the Bucks came in with an injury, and they were starting off slow, but eventually they built up. But I can understand from your point of view, like, you know, the whole psychology thing, because sometimes Orange Cassidy, I agree. I was gonna say I like Orange Cassidy.
I'm sorry, but to me, the best wrestler since Eddie passed away, to me,
No. You gotta say
Active right
currently.
now.
Active.
active.
Yeah,
No, I'm
that's what
saying
he's asking.
the best wrestler, in my opinions, active that's still alive. Okay, that didn't make a little sense. But, it's AJ Styles. AJ Styles has been the best, well-rounded professional wrestler. His style has changed, and it adapts as he gets older, and he has good ring psychology. He's got a good move set, and he knows how to fucking sell, and he knows how to make other people fucking look good.
And he wears gloves. He's got a great set of hair.
He's got that
got
soccer mom hair.
That hair looks great. Like, man,
You know how much fucking conditioner you got to drying your hair in?
fucking whole bottle.
Yeah.
He should have like a Head and Shoulders like
Plus,
commercial.
he cuts the split ends a lot. So, you know what? I'm gonna go get my fucking hair split ends cut so I can have hair like that. No.
Yeah, that'll do it. You come out here looking just like AJ Styles.
I don't want none. I actually have an AJ Styles shirt too, because I'm a big fucking fan.
Come out
I'm a
with,
big
like,
fan of
Karen
AJ
wig.
Styles. I even have my little AJ Styles Funko Pop with the SmackDown Tag Team title from back in the day. Look at
Give
that
me
hair. Look
Orange
at that
Cassidy.
hair.
I like
Look at
that
that
guy.
hair. Look at that hair.
Yeah, they are making a figure of him. I don't know when it's gonna come out though.
I'm
He
just,
better be like asleep or something.
He probably is.
Comes with a little bottle of OJ.
plus,
Juice.
like, I could see, like, honestly, Adam Cole is a great fucking wrestler.
Yeah, the one thing that's holding him back is the size, sadly.
On NXT, he's doing really well though.
I know, but like if he would have gone to the main roster, that's
Yeah.
probably what's
He's
gonna
small.
like hold him back.
Are
Hey, small,
are
damn
they
it,
can
put him some
give
steroids.
Or they can give him or Johnny Gargano the Daniel Bryan treatment, because every 10 WrestleManias they always do the triple threat: the one technical, the champion, and then the one big name or big wrestler or whatever.
Oh, for Mo,
That's Sonic, by the way.
yeah, that's me. Wait, what was the question? Because he was saying the
Best wrestler.
The best.
Yeah,
we were
that's
talking about who we thought was the best wrestler, active wrestler,
Goku.
and I said AJ Styles.
Mine was clearly a joke, but I like who I like.
Who'd you
Yeah,
even
there's
say
a-
you like?
Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
He likes Orange Cassidy.
He's entertaining. It's
Very entertaining.
entertainment.
Had there been a crowd, a lot of people would fucking like blow
I
their
f-
heads off. And
that-
shit.
His first pay-per-view he had against Pac,
That was fun.
they fucking loved that shit.
No,
Yeah, in Chicago.
no. I am not fucking biased as fuck. I like Ring of Honor. I like Impact Wrestling. I've been enjoying Impact Wrestling a lot more lately.
It's
I think you're
improved
just
over the last few years.
anti-AEW.
No, I just don't like. No, it's not that I don't. I wanted to like AEW, but I just, for some reason, I can't stand Kenny Omega. And
Why
and
do
Do
the
you
young.
think it's like a couple of like top end wrestlers from that group?
No,
You
I
just-
also don't like Jungle Boy.
You know,
I
like
like
Jungle
him,
Boy.
I don't like Jungle Boy and
I-
his fucking Yoshi.
But they made a shirt of it that looks like Super Mario
It
World.
does. It does. That's why.
I like that.
That's why I
like
called
that.
him his Yoshi. I don't
Yeah,
like
but,
the
but
young.
do you like Marco's stunt though?
Yeah, he's good. He's good. I don't like the young fucks.
I think it's you don't like the heads of that group.
No, because I am a big Cody fan, dude. I always thought Cody Rhodes.
And he got his last name back too.
Yeah, he got his. I'm
he
really
worked out
glad. I hate calling him just Cody.
No, I didn't. Okay, I didn't like that either. Where he's like, especially Justin Roberts has now, the American Nightmare, Cody, and I'm like, it doesn't sound that good. But when he says Cody Rhodes, it sounds better.
When he left WWE and started the whole American Nightmare, me and my brother both agree. Like, holy shit, that is really good. Like, because his dad was the American Dream, and now he's the American Nightmare. Like, dude, that was fucking creative as fuck. And it's so simple. So simple, yet I'm a big Cody fan. I would really like to see Cody hold the AEW championship. I am not a Chris Jericho. I used to be a Chris Jericho fan, but he's one of those guys like, I should be paid the same as Brock Lesnar. I'm like, motherfucker, Brock Lesnar can pick up and throw a refrigerator across the room. You can barely lift up a cup.
Yeah, well, and also too, but I do like the talent that they got. You know, not just ex WWE guys. They got like a lot of good talent.
Yeah, but they just seem to be that. I'm not trying to.
No, you know, it's my favorite. I like Darby Allin.
Darby Allin.
I like him. Yeah, Darby Allin's. I like him. I'm pretty glad they're giving him the ball.
And you know what? I haven't said anything bad of Orange Cassidy because I don't have anything bad to say about him. I think he could do a lot better, honestly.
They've started to give him like actual matches now, which they started him off as like that side gimmick character because he's a comic wrestler when he was in the independent stuff.
I like how they try to make Brian Cage look like this monster, and yet he's competing for like a second tier to the second tier championship.
Oh, the FTW title and all that.
Right, yeah.
No, then like Moxley has been really. I feel like this is what he wanted to be in WWE, but obviously the whole thing with Vince and all that shit, he was like, I'm sure this is what he would have wanted to be. Then now he's the champion.
Okay, no.
Mo, first of all, discount mine because mine's based solely on I like Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I like it. I like AEW, but there is some flaws to it. It's flawed, but you know, obviously they can improve. You know what I mean?
Right.
As far as best wrestler, I would not put Orange Cassidy in there because he's not used the same in AEW. I like Randy Orton in WWE just because I've liked him ever since he came out. But I mean,
and for me, I can't really. It's hard to do an overall, you know, best wrestler, active wrestler, and all that stuff because people have different opinions on it.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I can say, oh, you know, in AEW, you know, one of my favorite wrestlers.
I can tell you one thing: it's not Kenny fucking Omega.
I was gonna say I do like Kenny Omega.
I liked him in Japan. I didn't like him.
I love him in Japan. All right, but you know, like I said, there is some flaws with AEW. You know, it's not the perfect. If you say one badass, if you could deny it all you want, like that ranking system, they really didn't improve it. Honestly, I'll tell you this: they did improve the Dark Order. A year ago, I did not give a fuck about them. Now I'm like, okay, they're being more featured, and I really, you know, I'm starting to grow on me.
No, I don't think so. I disagree.
I don't think AEW will ever eclipse. I think AEW will stay around. I think it's going to be that second tier one, but it's
I think it's going to pull a fucking TNA.
NFL is the most highest rated sport in America. Basketball is the second one. It's not going to get anywhere near as good as ratings as the NFL. So WWE is the NFL, where AEW can be NBA. It's going to be good and entertaining eventually, but it's not going to be that high rating that WWE is. It's got a namesake that's going to carry it beyond all the other stuff.
Plus, and AEW does a lot of hokey shit too, like making Matt Hardy teleport.
Well, to be fair, he did that.
WWE does a bunch of crazy shit.
WWE, they turned the lights off. They turned the lights off, and then they're gone. See that?
Okay, and also, to be fair, AEW when they did it, it was taped, so obviously they did a lot of editing.
Right, but still, it was actual teleportation. Where in WWE, they will turn off the lights.
Okay, but like I said, it's obviously it was
just because you can't see it.
Yeah, just because you can't see it.
But that's my point, though. Didn't they promise us like a more sports-like feel to it? And here they are.
Well, they say that same thing, and then you know sometimes it doesn't work out the way.
If they had a crowd there, they probably would have done it.
Yeah, had they had a crowd, it probably would have done differently.
They would have done commercial breaks between each teleportation, so you could run to this next location.
what was it? They had released some of the footage because as soon as they went to the commercial, the wrestlers would just kind of stop and move into the new position, but they kept the cameras rolling by
They
accident.
fucked up. Yeah, it was on when they first did the WWE shows in the Performance Center. That's what happened. But what? Like the teleportation. No, it's like if you gotta turn it off and turn it back on, that's a weird
it's
comparison.
the same concept.
Because they're not really. You don't know if they're teleporting. What if there's like a hatch under the ring and that's how they're getting? Because sometimes they won't teleport in. They'll come out from underneath the fucking ring.
No, they'll actually jump under. They'll go under the ropes and they'll sneak under the ring. I've seen that happen. Actually, in fact, I saw the Undertaker do that. He as soon as the lights went out, he comes up, he jumps back in the
sprint.
I saw him do that. Sprint. I saw him do that.
Right.
They pose themselves briefly and they stand there.
Yeah, that's
just because you can't see it, it's the same idea. Only
it's getting the same illusion.
It's a practical effect other than editing.
Yeah.
So if they had a crowd, they probably would have done the practical effect because it's not new.
Plus, another thing that I don't fucking believe is how could somebody and look, I'm not, before anybody takes this out of context, I'm not body shaming. I'm not shaming anybody. I'm just saying, on a scale of believable, to me, it's like a fucking 0. How could somebody like Riho, who's like 100 pounds, take on Nyla Rose, who's like a refrigerator with legs?
As the same people who couldn't believe Daniel Bryan beat Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton the same night.
He kicked the shit out of him. That's different.
There you go. That's a difference.
Daniel Bryan weighs 200 pounds. They weigh 260. That's a 60-pound difference. Riho's 100. Nyla Rose is 300 pounds.
Okay.
That's a 200-pound difference.
Rey Mysterio beats Big Show.
That's like us trying to go fight a gorilla. Not saying that they're the same. That's okay. I mean, I should stop.
Yeah, that was really that was not really the best. David and Goliath. That's the
there
story.
You go. It's David and Goliath. But it doesn't. Even that fucking story doesn't make any sense.
I want to see New Day instant transmission from the top of the ramp onto the fucking ring.
Yeah, that would be fucking cool.
Yeah, you wish. Actually, I kind of wish Matt Hardy had that power. That would be cool. I know. Sorry to the people who are non-wrestling fans, be like, "What the fuck are they talking about? Don't they know this shit's fake and all that?"
We do this like once every 2 months.
I like how people call wrestling's fake. How can you watch that? So is the fucking Avengers, but you still went to go see that.
Bitch, we watch anime. It's all fake.
And then you also watch fucking reality shows, and that shit's staged half the time.
Hell yeah!
Actually, you know what? No, I think
people
about
are assholes. That's
do you remember? True. Do you know who Hana Kimura is? She was a wrestler in Japan who sadly, tragically passed away of suicide.
Wasn't that was Io Shirai and Asuka's friend.
Yeah, and it was because of a reality show, and apparently there was a lot of like shady shit that happened that pretty much, I don't know, it's just fucking disgusting to the point where I say to myself, if you want to see something more phony than wrestling, watch reality shows. That shit makes wrestling look real.
And sometimes wrestling can be real. You think that people are like, that's all fake. Okay, why don't you show me and teach me how to properly fall off of a 14-foot ladder on a fucking surface of wood this fucking thick with a mat this fucking thin and not break something. There is a way to fall and to where you don't break anything, but it still fucking hurts.
All right, have you prayed today? Yes. Have you done your Hail Marys? Yes. Well, that's the closest we're going to fucking get. Here you go. Boom.
Bombs away.
The first lesson in professional wrestling when you sign up is they teach you you have to throw yourself back into the ring. They tell you, lift your arms up, tilt your head forward, throw yourself back, land on your back. If you do not lift your head forward, you can accidentally break your neck. Mm-hmm. And like, I know that sounds funny, but it's legit. Like the rings are, you know how some promotions use metal fucking wire and they put a fucking hose over it and wrap it with tape. I had bruises on my fucking legs and sides from the first day I ran the ropes.
That's to get out all the weak people.
And they tell you the first time you run those ropes, don't run it like John Cena.
You're not made of muscle.
No, because the ropes can snap. If the rope snaps and you run it like Cena, because he leans on his back. If you lean on your back and it snaps, you'll fall out.
Die.
Because WWE still uses actual rope.
Yes.
Where most promotions will use the metal airline wires. the ring is nice and soft sometimes, but when you fall on it 10 feet from the fucking air, and the ring does not give a bounce to your step, like you have to legitimately jump. It doesn't bounce. If you land on your fucking head, you're gonna fucking die.
It's not fun.
It's not. It's dangerous. And the first thing they teach you in wrestling, though, before you enter the ring, you have to wipe your feet outside.
Yeah.
Like on the ring itself, you wipe your feet when you go up the steps and you're on the side of the ring. Wipe your feet before you walk in. That's a tradition. You have to do that every time.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
You have to wipe it on the apron because you're paying respects to everybody that's come before you.
Mm. It's like that thing.
That's
It's
a sumo wrestling thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a tradition, and also it was like that. It's like that Tough Enough thing where Triple H explains like from the moment we get out of the curtain to this ring, and to the moment we go back, we tell a story. Not what our minds, but what our body. Not what our mouths, what our bodies.
Yeah, they teach you ring psychology.
The Rock, and you do it with your mind.
You have to do. Well. It's called ring psychology, and I'm
hard to believe that Tough Enough came out 20 years ago.
And that's the thing. I really, because I've seen a lot of Kenny Omega matches, and I've seen a lot of Young Buck matches, and there are just some times where they'll do a headlock, Irish whip, shoulder block, throw them out of the ring, suicide dive, throw them back in the ring, do a few headlocks, do a few moves, turnbuckle, out of the ring, suicide dive. They'll do 4 or 5 dives per match.
Yeah, there was one match I remember. It was the Okada Omega match in New Japan from 2017. There was a spot where, Kenny gets thrown over the top, basically a backdrop to that table. But what's so surreal is that it's on a platform. So basically it's an elevated platform. And had he not missed, he could have fucking broke his back or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a scary ass spot. But, some of these guys, they're aware of what they're going to do. They sometimes agree with that spot. Like Shawn Michaels, how he broke his fucking back in that casket.
Like the Undertaker and Mankind spot where he throws him off the ring. That was not planned. That was not something they had intended to do.
Which one?
But both.
Okay, because I know the second one, that panel was not supposed to break.
It was.
But
it wasn't supposed to break with him on it.
Yeah, because the cell roof was actually pretty weak compared to the first one. It actually looked. Yeah, if you notice when they were walking, it started breaking apart a bit.
When he falls the second time, his tooth is inside of his nose.
Yeah, because the chair landed on his face.
Right, and then when Undertaker throws him off the cage and he lands on the table.
Oh shit! He died.
Jerry Lawler's legitimate reaction is, "Holy shit, he's dead."
That's it. He's dead.
He's
That's
dead.
How he said it.
The thing about wrestling,
hold on. The thing about that was it. So it wasn't scripted. It was Mick Foley's idea to do it then.
Right, because when they got to the back, Vince was pissed.
Yeah.
So how are we gonna get down here? I don't know. Throw me, I guess.
Because I know,
down.
okay, so Vince comes off as a very cold-hearted individual, but he actually legitimately cares about a lot of the wrestlers. So when he went to the back, he does care about a lot of them. He does. There are just some that they kind of rub him the wrong way because they want to do there are some wrestlers that they feel entitled. But look at when Mick Foley went to the back, Vince was like, "Don't you ever fucking do that again."
He did it. They did it again though, kind of.
Foley broke one of his rules. He broke one of his rules, when he was fighting Triple H in the no holds barred match at the Royal Rumble 2000.
I was gonna bring that up because the pedigree to the thumbtacks that was not approved by Vince, and
Vince told him no thumbtacks.
Don't do that, and then they fucking did it anyway.
But what if thumbtacks?
What about Legos?
He told him no thumbtacks
Good on
at
Legos.
all.
Dice.
Because
Legos,
Foley admitted that he almost lost his eye when he got pedigree.
That did look scary. It was a scary ass.
He wouldn't have cared.
No, Mick Foley didn't care. All he was like, think of the pop.
Think of the pop.
They're gonna love this. I'm gonna get all kinds of scars.
And a lot of people
my
said
mask would look amazing.
And also, a lot of people said that was the match that made people took Triple H seriously as a main eventer.
That match is what jump started Triple H to stardom.
Mm-hmm.
It'll put you over. It's like, yeah, but put your eye out.
That's 2000 for you.
And
that was before they changed the pedigree rule, didn't they? Because eventually they changed it to where he's not. They don't let him hold onto the arms when they.
No, he changed it because it was a lot safer.
Yeah.
They didn't change the rules on the move. He changed it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was changed. either by him or someone else.
Like if you
and make
notice,
it safer.
later on when he starts doing the pedigree, they'll have a knee up.
Yeah.
So they
And
don't.
he releases the arms too, so they don't feel like they're just smashing face first.
Right. No, Triple H is definitely one of those people that try to be a safe worker.
Brock's shooting star press was entirely his fault. He shouldn't have gone for it.
Actually,
because Angle was out of position.
something had happened.
Angle
They
was out of
said no, it wasn't. Angle was out of position. They said that Lesnar practiced that move 3 times earlier in the day, the exact same distance. The only, and he's done it. He's done it in OVW. In OVW, he did the shooting star press almost every match.
Was he like tired in the practice though?
No, they said that he got
late in the
nervous and
match.
slipped.
Yeah. I don't doubt that he's got the power to launch himself across that ring upside down.
He's done it, and he's
crazy
done it
athlete.
perfectly. And they said that I think it because when you compete in WrestleMania, it's a different atmosphere, and it makes people nervous. Like that was his first one, and people just chalk it up to he must have been he was out of his game.
Did he ever do it again?
No, he's not allowed to do it anymore. He almost killed himself.
You fuck up once, no more.
No, he almost killed himself. He almost broke his he's lucky he didn't break his neck.
He's got those giant traps.
That main event was a good main event, but it was a disaster physically for both of them.
Yeah.
No, because Angle was also wrestling with an injured neck.
They're even now.
It was so bad. Lesnar gave himself a concussion. That finish was so bad. Angle had to get up and improvise and walk him through the rest of the match because that's how it was supposed to end. But Angle improvised and he walked. Angle did all the work. He's like, okay, do this, pick me up. He had to tell him, pick me up and give me the F5. So Angle, that's just the amount of professionalism when it comes to professional wrestling. Sometimes the wrestler...
Angle was, I think, underrated in some ways.
There's a lot of
I never saw a
wrestlers
bad
who
match
are
anymore.
assholes that were in it for themselves. Like Hulk Hogan was definitely an asshole backstage. Believe it or not, Shawn Michaels was a fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
He was in it him and the Clique were in it for themselves. They actually tried to sabotage The Rock from becoming a star. But we all know how that turned out.
Electrifying man in sports entertainment.
Yeah, pretty much. Sean and him and Sean had some beef at one point.
Yeah, that's why they never worked together. That's the greatest match we never got.
Up there next to
They
Sting
never
and
went
Taker.
against each other?
Huh?
No,
They never worked. They never worked together. When Rock started coming to Stardom, Michaels was out the door because of his back. And then when Michael came back, Rock was out the door to go to Hollywood.
For the money.
Money! Except The Rock is a much better actor than we thought he was initially going to be.
It's because he was in just straight B, C movies when he came out.
Well, that and he decided, fuck it, I'm going to be myself from now on.
I'm tired of being these characters. I'm going to be Dwayne Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Michaels and The Rock have never worked with each other on a one-on-one situation.
The tag team.
That was a tag team, and if you really watch that match, Rock and Michaels don't really interact at all.
Who was the most overseller? Was it Shawn or The Rock on a Stone Cold Stunner?
The Rock.
The Rock, because he did a fucking flip.
The Rock will launch himself out of the ring.
Yeah, for real.
You know
Rock
what? I'll give another contender. Scott Hall at WrestleMania 18.
Yeah.
He fucking looked like he flew off a rocket.
Yeah, but when The Rock did it, if you go back and you watch one of the first times Austin gave The Rock the stunner and he fucking sold it.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and watch that match. You see Rock and Michaels don't even make eye contact. The Rock, he does he throws himself back and does the flip and does he pushes himself with his arms. Austin's eyes are like.
Wasn't there a rumor that Stone Cold would give a case of beer to the person who would oversell the best on a stunner? So The Rock would always oversell so he can get it?
No, The Rock oversold Hulk Hogan's leg drop, dude. Go watch. It's a Monday Night Raw.
Oversell a leg drop. That was a terrible move to begin with.
Hogan drops the leg drop. Let me see. Where are my toys?
Like his fake palpitation he does when he's on the ground, like he's having a stroke.
Okay, so I'm going to use these. Damn it, I knocked one of the power. So the Rock's lying down, right? And Hogan's like, gives him the leg drop, and the Rock just like fucking throws himself in the air.
He
Legs
jackknives
first.
himself.
Like, it's like he's about to like do the jump, you know, when you jump back to your feet from your
kick
back.
up.
The kick up. Damn it, I lost this dragon dagger. It fell out of his holster.
It's gone forever.
I got to look for it.
It's a collectible. Podcast over.
Podcast. I think I stepped on it.
Oh.
Oof.
The Rock can sell. Like, The Rock is a good seller. Dolph Ziggler right now is the best modern day seller.
He reminds me of Mr. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
No, but there was when you mentioned Shawn Michaels as an overseller, that Hulk Hogan match at SummerSlam. He made Hogan look like a total clown in that match.
He did it on purpose.
He did it. He purposely oversold all this shit.
Because Hogan did not want to job to anyone. When he had his rivalry with Randy Orton, where Orton had a possible love interest with Brooke, Hulk Hogan pulled the creative control card and said, I'm not going to job to him.
That's not going to work for me, brother.
Listen here, brother.
Brother.
I didn't push my walker here and take all my vitamins for the day. Well, I sound like Vince.
Yeah, that sounds like Vince.
Anyway,
Ooh, yeah. No,
it's Orton.
you sound like Macho Man.
Yeah, I was like, that's Randy Savage.
I literally said, oh, yeah.
Wrong, Randy.
One part of
yeah.
that powerful tag team.
But it's amazing. Like, you got to give props to Dolph Ziggler for being the best person to sell. Miz is one of the most underrated superstars on the mic. Miz can cut a fucking promo to where it feels like actual like grievances.
Boy, it makes you wish he wasn't PG. Had it been TV-14, he probably would have cut it.
I really love the
more
promos
high-pitched.
he cut into Daniel Bryan and John Cena, especially those. Like, those were
Yeah,
good.
but it's funny. He says those promos, but then what's he doing? You know, and now it's like, okay, those kind of didn't age well. It's like if you're gonna do all that shit, and then like, you know, they should have just capitalized it when he was, you know, in a way they should have just capitalized more on it. But I don't know.
Well, Miz is pretty content where he is. He's rich. He doesn't have a care in the world.
Yeah, that's. And honestly, I do not want to see him as WWE champion in 2020.
All right.
I do not want to see.
now.
Wait, what are you saying?
Who am I losing to now? That's the Miz.
Who am I
Yeah.
going over? Who's going over?
Yeah, because Miz is probably getting to that. A lot of wrestlers, once they get to their 40,
He's in his 40s. Yeah, he's already in his 40s.
the problem with WWE last year.
Whoa! Last year, not just the Fiend, man. The whole Kofi thing early in the year, that was a big deal.
That was a major deal. I mean,
That was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
The whole thing with Ronda and Becky, that was a big deal.
Lynch.
That was a deal in 2019.
I'm just so sick of fucking Charlotte, dude.
Yeah, then when they added that was really stupid.
The
If
Hurt
anything,
Business right now is one of the best fucking things. MVP and Bobby Lashley just have a lot of chemistry together.
Mhm.
I mean, also I like the Hurt Business. I like the Fiend. I like the Tribal Chief story. Also, Seth Rollins is now taking he'll be back. He won't be back until the end of December, early January.
he's on break
Because Becky Lynch is about
he's
to
about-
give birth.
because he's about to be a dad.
Yep, he
They're
got.
both men.
The man's man.
Hey man,
They made a shirt
you
of
be
that, and I
nice
was
to-
like, wow, really? They
Yeah,
said
they
they made a
did.
shirt.
They really
out of that.
They really fucking did.
That's what a manly
That was-
child.
Kofi
The man's
Kingston
man.
and I have to agree with Jim Cornette when it comes to that. Like, if you're gonna make Brock Lesnar look like an absolute monster,
Don't use Kofi.
well, I mean, he's the champion, so they gave the title to Lesnar. That made sense in the sense that if you're gonna make Brock Lesnar look like this unstoppable monster, just to have Drew McIntyre, because when you make this guy look like a monster and steamroll through the whole fucking competition, it just makes Drew McIntyre's victory over Brock Lesnar that much more impactful.
It is. That's true. But I don't know why they had to make him lose in 8 seconds. Really, they could have just gave him like similar to AJ and Brock or Brian and Brock. No, 8 seconds.
Would you rather him lose in 8 seconds or get tossed around like Cena did, where it's just
That was
literally
dumb.
it is 20 minutes of Cena just being thrown
Exactly.
around like a sack of potatoes.
No, but think about it. That's your fucking world champion. He had a really good reign for 6 months. Nobody expected him to have that long of a reign.
Right.
And that's what you do. And then set up for a fucking match that was like Hollywood Havoc 98 level bullshit. It was like, it reminded me of the Warrior and Hogan in 98. You put Cain Velasquez and fucking Brock Lesnar in a fucking 2-minute match in Saudi Arabia.
That was dumb. That
was dumb. That's the same energy of WCW in 98. It's pretty much what Hogan and Warrior did. It was like a rematch from WrestleMania 6. They should have that's really what it reminded me of.
But so you got to look at it. That I will admit it was dumb, but for another reason.
No.
Because when Cain Velasquez, when they announced,
and he came in injured, which
he came in injured, and then he comes in and his physique, like the way he looked, he didn't look like a champion.
Right.
I understand in the UFC, like that's a different sport. That's a whole different environment.
That's a different thing.
He's not the best in the UFC either. He got his fucking ass handed to him by what was his name? I forgot. But like I don't know how many title defense. I think it was like the very first title defense after Lesnar. Like after he fought Lesnar, he fought somebody else and he got his ass handed to him. Mm-hmm. He comes back. He doesn't look like a champion. He doesn't look like a fucking champion. Plus he was injured. Plus he looked like he didn't want to fucking be there. He's like, hey, I'm here to get paid.
Yeah, he was in AAA for a while, and he wanted the mask. He wore a mask over there in AAA.
He just looked really goofy.
Hmm.
Because he doesn't look like a typical wrestler.
Because they said Vince had like such a big fight planned for them until he saw Cain Velasquez on TV. He's like,
ooh, he
fuck.
looks like shit.
He looks like shit.
They fucked up. They fucked up.
I thought you were like a champion.
Because in the back it's one thing. When you see him in the back it's one thing. But when he saw him on television, it's like, yeah, that's not
different fucking story.
Take the shirt off.
Keep the shirt on.
Yeah, if anything, that is pretty. That because what they did at WrestleMania with Drew, that's pretty much. No, it's just, and also like, honestly, man, did they really had to make him be Universal Champion for a year and a half?
That was not the original plan, but they were gonna take it off of him at WrestleMania, but the fans were gonna boo the fuck.
I was at that WrestleMania too, and I could tell you they did not fucking care for that match either. Not even 2 minutes. They were chanting CM Punk. They were chanting NXT. They were throwing beach balls. I was in the section where Okada was sitting in my section, and people were focusing on him more. And he looked at this match. He's like, "What the fuck is this shit? They wanted me to be here?"
Yeah, Cain Velasquez is 14-3, but he's fought a lot of like. You remember that's his entire MMA career. That's not all just UFC.
MMA in general.
Yeah, that's his professional career in general.
Jeez, that was 10 years ago. He beat Brock Lesnar. Jesus, that was in 2010. Wow.
People think that Brock Lesnar doesn't give a shit, that he's lazy. That's not true. When he was feuding with Drew McIntyre and Drew McIntyre like fucking kicked him in the face, he was yelling at him, "Pick up the belt. Pick up the goddamn belt. Like hold it up." Like Lesnar helped. He gave him tips while he was getting his ass whooped.
Which is saying something because Brock wasn't really known for that shit. And he got helped a lot when it was first time around.
Yeah, but if anything, he's like paying back in a way. You know what I mean?
Brock is not. It's not that he's lazy. He's very professional, but he doesn't like to wrestle outside of his comfort zone. He hates wrestling big guys.
He's an introvert. He's an introvert who's in front of millions of people, but when he's in wrestling, he doesn't really. He's not focused on the crowd. He's focused on what he's doing.
Right.
He pretty much ignores everyone. He's in an introvert space, which is why he doesn't do a lot of like talking.
He's not a people person in general.
Right.
He lives in a mountain range where his front gate is miles away from his house, just so no one can bother him.
And also, he had like a private jet at one point. Like
he has a
his
private
first
jet.
run. He still does. Okay,
He still has the private jet. That's how, because when they were in Saudi Arabia,
that whole Saudi. If anything, I would not want to be in that. If I was anybody in the WWE, and I was like, man, I hope we don't go back to Saudi Arabia, because apparently they recently just settled out of court with that. They recently
$29 million.
$29 million on that. I'm like, dude, I wouldn't want to go back to Saudi Arabia. I don't want to deal with that shit.
Yeah, no, he has. I think I don't know if this is the case or not with that. I think
it's like a 10-year.
I don't know if it was no, not Saudi Arabia. It is Saudi Arabia, but it has to do with Lesnar. I don't know if it was his private jet or Vince's, but
no, it was with very much Vince, Brock, and a couple other people were like
they brought in all the bigger.
Yeah, no, Cain Velasquez stayed with the guys. He felt like he
Well,
wanted to be
no.
with the
But the
guys,
bigger
too.
names like Roman Reigns, anybody that was
Yeah,
advertised on SmackDown, they try to get him back. So
yeah,
they
but it
got
was,
on. They got on a couple of the private jets and got out of there while everybody else was on the
but
general.
there were some people there were some superstars who chose not to go to Saudi Arabia. For example, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, because they had legit reasons apparently. They
Right.
had like
Sami Zayn's not allowed in the country anyway.
because he's Syrian.
Sami Zayn's not allowed in the country. Aleister Black's not allowed in the country.
Because of his tattoos. Kevin Owens, because he's very loyal to Sammy. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna go.
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan, he
Same
said,
thing. Sami Zayn as well.
yeah, like he doesn't like, in a way their beliefs, and also Cena doesn't want his movie, his movie
brand.
career be
Right, because
tarnished in a way.
they murdered that
Journalist, yeah, and then that it would lead to people wanting them to cancel Crown Jewel. If anything, that should have been canceled anyway because
right.
I really can't believe Shawn Michaels turned down a match with AJ, turned down a match with Daniel Bryan, but said yes to Saudi Arabia because that money sure was big, huh? That was a big paycheck.
Yeah, according to What Culture or Russell, I think it's What Culture. It is the second most controversial show of all time.
It's up there. Yeah, it's up there.
The most controversial show of all time is the Rumble in Korea, where WCW,
WCW,
and New Japan Pro Wrestling did a show
in North Korea.
In front of the largest crowd ever.
Yeah, the Collision in Korea. That's what they called it.
I think it was 150,000 people.
Yeah,
it was not heavily advertised. It was barely broadcasted. It was mostly propaganda for North Korea. And the crowd was dead fucking silent.
Yeah, it's awkward as fuck.
The crowd was only amazed at how big the wrestlers were. One of the wrestlers actually almost got arrested in North Korea.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He called his wife and she accused him of going out and partying with the boys. And he said, no, I'm here in this shithole country working. And as soon as he said that, they kicked his door down and took him to like an interrogation room and told him that he can't say anything bad about North Korea.
It's fucking scary.
And like another fucking another commanding officer walked in there and told him to let him go because he was a special guest for the Supreme Commander.
Shit.
So,
Don't do that. He's
no. They didn't say it like that. They're like, you have to let him go.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
just beat his ass and then let him go.
give him a few.
And speaking of that too, they're actually moving. Obviously they're doing the Thunderdome thing at the Amway Center in Orlando.
Yes.
But since the NBA season's starting, they're moving it to where the Tampa Bay Rays play. They're moving into Tropicana Field starting in a few weeks.
For anybody watching that doesn't know what the Thunderdome is for WWE,
well, Tropicana's in a dome.
It's pretty much Digimon the movie.
Yeah, pretty much. If you ever watch Digimon the movie, you're literally watching the Thunderdome.
It's when the Omnimon's fighting Diaboromon and you see all the people in the background.
They fucking sent a bunch of emails to him.
Yeah, when all their faces appear in the screens, that's the Thunderdome.
I always imagine like an old lady sending a fax, sending a fax to this guy. Like, I'll get the boy.
I'll get that boy. And also,
what's sending a fax to Amazon for my package?
Just tell me how to print the internet.
So, yeah, for all the people out there who are not wrestling fans, you got a lot of knowledge of wrestling.
I don't know if it's a lot of knowledge. It's mostly about like a couple subjects.
I got like a 15-year gap where I didn't pay attention to shit.
It's okay. Don't worry. A lot of people don't either.
I like watching. I like What Culture. That's what I have on I do for YouTube. There's another.
I like What Culture more than I like Wrestle Talk.
WrestleLamia. That's one I like watching.
You should watch Botchamania.
WrestleLamia used to be bad, but they've gotten better. Yeah, watch Botchamania, by the way.
Yeah, Matthew.
But WrestleLamia has gotten better because like a year ago, they were like a day or two behind on the news.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're
really outdated.
They're getting it out there faster than Wrestle Talk. Wrestle Talk, they are fucking one-sided with AEW. Like it's not even funny. Like they are so pro AEW and anti NXT.
Mm-hmm. I guess in a way
because they don't even do the reviews for NXT anymore. Like
no, and also what does it's because I know a podcaster. He always does these live streams like after AEW because he says when NXT doesn't get enough traction on YouTube, so he does AEW, and that's what like a lot of people want to hear. But he does on his weekly podcast. He does it on Sundays. He talks about any news that happened that whole week, and he does an NXT review on that Sunday.
And I can understand why AEW gets a little bit more traction Because NXT is still technically developmental.
Well, depending on who you talk to, because people will say, "Oh, it's the third brand," or "It's developmental." It's like a debatable thing.
It's still developmental because that's where you're learning the hard camera, like entrances, the crowd reactions, your character. Okay, this character doesn't work. We're gonna do this one. Okay, this works. You're gonna do this. We're gonna try this entrance. We're gonna try this with this. It's not developmental to this per se to where you're learning how to wrestle. It's developmental to where if you've never been on television before, because you can't just be a wrestler and then just go out there. You have to be trained. You have to know how wrestling on television works, because they have the hard camera, the main camera, and that's the one. That's why they're always facing in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot to it. There's a lot more to it than just And honestly, AEW is more. It's the New Japan Pro Wrestling fans that wanted a promotion here in the U.S. And I feel like a lot of, WWE does a lot of good shit. They do a ton of good shit. It's not just wrestling wise or story wise, but they do like charities, Connor's Cure. They do all kinds of great shit. But everybody in the wrestling community will shit. Like, they'll do like, they have a show like Monday Night Raw. Half of it was good, half of it was bad. But people will only shit on they will only shit on it because they only want to acknowledge the bad shit.
Yeah, but they watched it.
9 times out of 10, like 90%, like that's would always be the big part. Because I'm sure some stuff would be good, but what's the big thing everyone wants to talk about? If the big thing doesn't work out the way it is, obviously they'll talk about it.
Right. I mean, WWE does a lot of good. It's not like they're horrible individuals, and sometimes you have to see
their wrestlers insurance, but
right.
Yeah,
that is Vince's fault. That is Vince's fault.
And they'll fire people for streaming or fucking going on OnlyFans.
Dude, she was fucking warned, and she decided to start an OnlyFans. Like, I'm taking her side, but at the same time, I'm seeing it from WWE's point of view.
You can understand from their, it's like a two-way thing,
right?
But yeah, like that.
They
could
gave her a
but the
month.
only. Right, but at the same time, it's like, okay, the OnlyFans, obviously you should have saw that coming. But at the same time, some of these guys and some of these, women, it's like because they're not on the roads all the time. In fact, they're saying that when everything's back to normal, they may not even do house shows
Pentagon
anymore.
Jr. Sorry, question. It was a comment on that. Sorry.
Pentagon Jr.
Out of nowhere. Yeah,
no,
what
because
was
I
the
just
question?
saw it. Sorry. He was asking what is the name. Cero Miedo.
Oh yeah, Pentagon Jr. Yeah.
Cero Miedo. What was it?
Well,
Oh, it's Zero Miedo.
I don't.
There you go.
The person, the wrestler, who could do their OnlyFans.
Zelina
I understand. I understand that WWE didn't want them to do that, and because their image it's their likeness, but it's also that's their brand that the WWE bought. They didn't buy. If you look just unapologetically, you look horrible, but you could wrestle. They probably would pick someone who looked good.
The team is Lucha Bros. There you go, the Lucha Bros.
Lucha Bros.
Just like the celebrities, the Hollywood celebrities, A-list, B-list, C-list, they don't have OnlyFans because it's their image. That's that's what they sell.
I was gonna say, Bella Thorne has an OnlyFans. She had an OnlyFans.
Yeah,
remember that we talked about that?
Yeah,
one.
But here's the thing.
Chris Brown just joined OnlyFans also.
Yeah, but he's not selling. He's not selling lewds.
No, that's the
He's
thing.
selling
Like
fighting advice.
Because and also another thing too is like when people associate OnlyFans, most people think
adult content.
They think adult content. And I could see that, but also like for Twitch and all that, that was making an income. If anything, they can make like hell. They had the Undertaker do a cameo for $1,000, and WWE took like a 50% cut of it. So basically, he was making like $5,000 each. $500 each cameo he was doing.
Right, but but the thing is with Selena Vega, the reason why she got fired was because of the OnlyFans.
Yeah, that was pretty much the final nail in the coffin per se.
Because it had already been a month that they told everyone they had to stop doing cameo Twitch.
All their Twitch.
Everyone that's not the New Day.
No, the New Day did. Even Big E was making a shit ton of more money. Than
right, but the Big E, they still do their podcast and they get
because that's associated with WWE and also up down down.
Yeah, but Big E and the New Day get paid a fuck ton of money. Like,
right,
they get paid their YouTube revenue.
Mm-hmm. but here's the thing, like the whole unionization thing. I know people have a debate about that. Most what people don't know, in the 80s, Jesse the Body Ventura wanted a union for wrestlers.
Yep.
But it wasn't until Vince found out about it and he got punished for it. And
Yeah,
it
tell
turns
them
out
how.
it was-
Tell them how he found out.
So, basically, when he was in a law, he was like in a court battle with WWE. His lawyer, Ventura's lawyer, was talking to Vince. He asked him questions. Before that, Ventura asked, "Hey, can you ask him who ratted me out for the unionization thing?" And it turns out it was Hulk Hogan who pretty much snitched at Vince. It's like, hey,
it cost him. It attacks his money. He don't want to know.
Yeah.
He can make more money if everyone else is making less, because he's a cunt.
Right. Yeah. Everybody was going to be paid equally. The thing about, and that's the reason why, like, look, it's not that Vince is against you. He might be against that. I'm not sure.
He probably
the
has.
way the business is run now is how the business was run in the 70s and the 80s.
And also, if you're wondering why it's called sports entertainment, not professional wrestling, it's because there's a tax, something about a tax.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
license. They also a license.
And
They
a
have
license
to-
thing.
they
That's
have
why
to-
they have to call it sports entertainment.
You know how boxers have to get a license to fight?
Commissions and all that, yeah.
Yeah. But Vince is
Which
just
it's entertainment. It's
right.
not.
Vince just learned how to run a wrestling promotion from the territory days, and that's just how he's running WWE.
It's working.
And no, and also like my take on the whole, like, them streaming, I was like, it's not too bad. I mean, just let them. Some of them are really entertaining on stream or some. It's like, if anything, they're pretty much just like, oh man, why can't we see more of this guy who's streaming like this? It's like, it shows a more human side in a way, you know what I mean? Like, they go on the show, they cut a promo, but the promo sounds so like robotic, and so I'm like, oh, like, who the fuck would say it? Nobody talks like this, you know what I
Because
mean?
it was made by a bunch of writers.
There
Yeah,
are a
and-
lot. There's a lot of talent now, or even before, that won't. They'll look at him and be like, I'm not gonna say this.
Yeah, this is stupid. Why the fuck would I say this shit?
Orton just says whatever the fuck he wants. Cena says
Yeah.
whatever the fuck he wants. The New Day do their own promos.
And also another thing, like in NXT Triple H, the way he would tell people to write promos, he would actually put them in bullet points. Like, okay, just say this. You can say whatever, but as long as you get to these points.
Right. You can say
Which is what you
this
do
is
when you
bring
do a
up this point, and don't cuss.
Don't say these words. You're good.
Like, because WWE, like I said, when their backs are against the fucking wall, they know how to fucking produce a great fucking. I don't know, like Friday Night SmackDown, they had Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre sitting at, they did the contract signing, right? But it's like the little subtle shit that makes it so fucking good. Like, hey, you know how they all sit on how they both sit on one side of the table for the you ever seen like a contract signing, like they have the and they sit on one side? Roman Reigns sat next to fucking Drew McIntyre I'm sorry, I said Drew Gulak, but I meant Drew McIntyre. He sat next to him at the head of the fucking table because he calls himself the head of the table. So he sat at the fucking head of the table, and they start talking to each other, and they're talking shit to each other, but they don't have microphones. They're so fucking so. It's like, you know what? I really like you. You remind me of a younger me. Like, and then he says to him at the end of like, they're talking shit to each other, and it feels so fucking real. And at the end of it, he's like, you know what? You've always been my favorite number 2. And then he fucking signs that contract. And I was like, fuck.
See, this is the shit that makes you wish there was a crowd.
For real, that
There's
shit.
a lot of
I'm so
moments
glad
this
there was
year.
no crowd though. That's one of those.
You could actually hear it too, because you could
hear them, and with a crowd that never would have worked. You can't talk because the crowds would have been like, "What?" The crowd can sometimes kill a storyline or a promo. But that was so fucking clean.
I will tell you this. I like Austin, but when he made those what chants, I just oh my god, why did you have to make the what chant a thing?
All these years later. Still
Damn
here.
it, Austin.
Which is remembered more, Austin 316 or what?
No, the what thing is worse. Austin 316 was iconic.
What?
Like there's even people
that's still a thing.
There's even people who never watch wrestling.
They have
like,
no idea where it's from.
Austin 316. I know what
You
that's
just say-
WWF.
you just say what?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but
You say
everyone
what?
does what now? Even if it's non-wrestling, people what?
No, but like in wrestling, it just like it like sometimes it kind of like it can make or break, in a way.
Period. And
The crowd can kill what could have been a fantastic promo.
Right. Or there's a lot of moments this year that would have been cool with a crowd. Like there were some moments of WrestleMania that made me man, I wish there was a
Drew
crowd for this.
McIntyre becoming champion.
That was a big fucking deal. I'm like, dude, in my head I was like picturing, man, imagine in Tampa in that fucking stadium, that fucking big ass stage and all that. Imagine how big
Otis winning Money in the Bank.
Or him getting a kiss from Mandy. And in my head, I was like, dude, that fucking would have exploded the fucking building.
Yeah, because that rivalry exploded before the quarantine. That's the only reason why they had it at WrestleMania, because the fans, like, fucking...
Probably would have... Yeah, they would...
We love that shit.
We like that stuff.
So, I mean, it's definitely, like...
And once again, I'd like to say to the audience who are not wrestling fans, sorry, we're at the, this is actually the most active we were talking about wrestling in a while.
Right? Yeah, no, for real. But we did say it's not fair to only talk about like bad shit.
We can talk about
a lot of bad shit about wrestling too.
Well, I mean, I've been a wrestling fan since 2001.
Really? Damn. Almost 20 years.
My pappy got me into wrestling back in 1996.
No, actually, I became a wrestling fan because in middle school, everybody was a fucking wrestling fan.
Yeah, that's how big wrestling was. Even cartoons made wrestling references.
We even started fighting during lunch.
There was even there was a lot of... No, that's how it is back then. Like, for me, it was when the Attitude Era was like, they're planting the seeds, you know what I mean? Like 96, 97, that's when... Okay, everybody was big into wrestling. Like you would go to a store, and I remember in '98, the biggest things were wrestling and South Park. You would see a kid either wearing a South Park shirt or a wrestling shirt.
Yeah, it was definitely amazing.
Those two were like the biggest things at the time.
Unfortunately, the South Park video games sucked.
Yeah, the one in then 64 one, but
they had two RPG? Of them. The one with chefs, it was like a party game. Shack. And there was one where you're throwing snowballs at turkeys.
And there was a Mario Kart one, too.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
The Mario Kart one was really good.
South Park Rally. Someone should mod Cartman in the fucking Mario Kart. Now I kind of want to see that now. Just replace Wario with Cartman. Perfect.
About right. Pretty accurate.
Fourth grade. Yeah, so I was in... Let's see.
In 1999, I was in the sixth grade, I think, because...
It's the height of that WCW stuff.
Because I remember they were my math teacher. I think it was my math.
Yeah,
teacher.
1999 is when WCW like kind of declined.
We were getting ready for the new millennium, and my math teacher was making a joke because the math teacher told everyone to write down the year they thought they would live to, and somebody put 2000. And he's like, "Oh no!" He started making jokes.
The Y2K thing.
Yeah. So he started making jokes and crying. It was great because remember I was 10 or I was like I just turned 11 when I was already in middle school. In 1999, I would have been 11 because I'm in 88.
Okay, I was born in. Yeah, I was 94.
I think in 99, that's when Power Rangers in space, and I'm not sure if it was that year or the year before.
98.
Was 98?
Cool.
Okay, so 99 is when I stopped it's when I stopped watching Power Rangers.
Yeah, Lightspeed Rescue came out in 2000 or 99. It was 2000.
Lightspeed Rescue was 2000.
2000, because I remember.
I think it was one of the last few. I think it was one of the last games on the N64.
Lightspeed Rescue. No, I think it was in 2000. 2001 is when they kind of stopped focus because they had Conker's Bad Fur Day. They had Mario Party
Tony
3.
Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
Pro Skater 3. That was like the last.
It was the last N64 game.
In 2002.
That was 2001.
2002.
Was it 2002?
Yeah, 2002.
I was laughing at Conker's Bad Fur Day.
We're laughing.
Yeah,
at
that
you.
came out in 2001.
And then they made it on Xbox, but they censored it.
Yeah, it got heavily censored. Walmart didn't want to sell it until they censored it. And that's when Walmart's like, okay.
Out of all the damn consoles it got censored on, it was the damn Xbox.
Should have been on GameCube. It probably would have got censored on GameCube heavily. If anything, I think the GameCube kind of needed that kind of thing.
I wasn't a wrestling fan yet. I remember playing the wrestling games with y'all, but I didn't know who any of the wrestlers were.
This guy looks just like everyone else, but
no, I learned who they were, like Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels. Like I learned who they are because they would talk about them, but I didn't watch. The very first time I watched professional wrestling was the Extreme SmackDown before No Way Out.
That was in 2001, February 2001.
That was the first time I had watched wrestling. I know that.
My favorite memory from wrestling is every time you hear that Stone Cold glass shatter when he comes and interrupts somebody.
You know it's a big deal.
Here he comes.
The big pop.
Hold on.
And it's real that Goku said that, and then 2 months later, WrestleMania was in the Astrodome.
Yeah, because I didn't know what WrestleMania was, and I had to. So we went to Fry's Electronics, and I saw No Mercy, and I wanted it. I wanted a wrestling game, so I was like, I want this. My dad's like, okay, I can either buy you the game or I can pay for WrestleMania. So I told my brother, okay, we're gonna try to get both. So we set the game, and then we convinced my dad, like, hey, if our friends pitch in for pizza and the pay-per-view, can we get it? And we got it. So we got both.
Ooh. The best of both worlds.
Does anybody remember the Stone Cold Steve Austin by Disturbed?
Yeah.
I
Glass
only
shatters.
know the glass part.
Stop betting to look at it inside you. Stop on the mic.
This one has
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking.
But
Part
I
of
don't
just
think
cared about
Jason's
the
never heard
first
it.
part.
This is by Disturbed.
I had the Titantron, so I would have Stone Cold. I just put it on the Titantron. It would just constantly do it.
You saw that stage? I like that stage. I like that little playset.
I had a long time ago. So no, I did not. I love it.
I
I
bought
wa-
that. I found the SmackDown one on eBay, a complete unboxed for like $15, and I still have it. I like that the Ovaltron one.
To answer your question, Mo, it was WrestleMania 17.
The first pay-per-view I saw was. I want to wager. Let's see, 97.
A whole
so-
straw penny.
A whole straw penny.
Yeah.
No, it's just I had a godfather who was like really big into wrestling. I went to a house show in like 95, 96.
They take it to something. You're a baby.
Yeah, exactly. And then I went to the first pay-per-view I saw, I remember it was around 98, 99. So I want to say probably summer 98. So I want to say SummerSlam 98. Yeah, that one with The Rock and Triple H in that ladder match.
The first year we had WrestleMania, like the first so it was mostly just WrestleMania every year that we get WrestleMania, but we got WrestleMania 17, then we got the Invasion, then we got 18, but it was always we paid for WrestleMania until the network came out.
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania 30 was the first time we didn't pay for the.
Do you remember that cable? Do you remember the black box that you were able to get shit for free?
Yeah, we didn't do that shit.
I knew somebody. My dad knew a friend. He would record every like pay-per-view like on a VHS tape. I remember I still have. Actually, what people don't know that I was in first grade. WrestleMania 17 happened at the Astrodome.
Fuck.
That was a surreal time. I was a first grader.
I think I was in 8th grade.
I was in there inside that building. I actually used WrestleMania as a homework assignment the next day. It's like write 5 sentences. It's like I went to WrestleMania, and my teacher's like, "Oh, you went to that? Oh, I have a uncle who went there too." I'm like, "Oh, cool." Good times.
Right. No. Yeah. WrestleMania was cool. Like the first time we had it, I think we had like 5 people come over, and then after that it was like 6. It got to the point where we had like 10 people at my house watch WrestleMania.
Yeah, remember those days when you had more than 10 people in it?
Yeah, no, we only, I think the most we ever had was 12, and like we were like one of my brother's friends, like, hey man, you want to be cool? Hi.
Oh, he's back.
Hell yeah! This is how we end our shows now. We used to have a dog. We don't have a dog anymore.
The dog's here.
We have a child. We have a dog and a child.
Because he likes to come in here and play the Ninja Turtles arcade cabinet.
Yeah. Someone ought to use it.
Yeah, someone making use of it.
I unplugged it, so it'll be like bye, like it won't turn on, bye. Besides, we have to end anyway in a couple
Yeah,
minutes.
that's what we're saying. That's how we
Say
end our
hi.
shows.
Say hi.
We are waving to you. Wave internet to this small child.
Yeah, so
Ha,
this
ha,
is it.
ha,
So
ha.
it's,
Hiya. Ha, ha, ha.
Brought you a kid's meal, but Matthew ate the fries, so there's only the
What?
I agree.
I'm gonna drink your
Yeah.
sodas.
after the chat.
If the chat for
No fries.
Say hi.
Eating your fries.
Say hi. Oh yeah, so my
Hola.
brother's friend, like, we were like, hey man, me, Mo, and my friends were like, hey man, you want to be cool? Go get us some sodas outside. He's like, no. And my brother's other friends like, I'll go get you some sodas. And everybody, like me, Mo, who's my godbrother, and all my friends were cheering like, yeah, he's the coolest. We love you, man. We like you already. You can come and hang on. You want some pizza? Like he brought all of us sodas. I'm like the other guy, His name was Clinton. Like, you get to watch WrestleMania from outside the window. Yeah, Mom. All right, hold on.
Hold on.
I'll be right back.
All right, Sonic. I don't know how we're gonna end this. We're gonna do it strong.
Okay, well.
You got about 7 minutes. I'll be back in like 2 or 3.
Okay. All right. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, F in the chat for the fries. Absolutely. See, Mo gets it.
F for fries,
Yeah, F for fries.
or P for papas fritas.
Papas fritas. There you go.
In Spanish.
There you go. You're getting it.
Don't patronize me. I learned that back.
I wonder if Goku knows that we can still hear him.
If he yells, I think he has headphones on still.
No, I hear him. Yeah, I hear him.
Goku. Quit being a jerk. So we've got no new comments.
Better than Mo. But yeah, like we said, I know we're sorry we were talking about wrestling, but it was either that or talk about Matsuri for another 2 hours.
Fuck Matsuri. Matsuri, the WWE of conventions.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Popular. Just like AEW apparently is.
I don't know.
There's lots of events scheduled for next summer, says the chat.
Yeah, the Dynamite episode that was supposed to be in April. It was gonna be here at U of H over the University of Houston, but that got postponed. It got postponed to this November, but obviously what's going on? They moved it to July of next year. That is if we're gonna have it. I got tickets for that one too. I went to the one in Corpus Christi last year, and it was not too bad. Was it worth the drive? I don't know. I kind of forgot that Corpus Christi was 3.5 hours away.
Watch it from home.
Yeah.
On YouTube after it's done.
Or DVR it.
Hey, I told you I'd be back.
Threaten us.
I'll be back.
Well, I guess that's all we have. That's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. I'm gonna go ahead. You have anything else you guys want to say? I know we talked a lot of shit about Matsuri today.
And we talked a lot about wrestling.
Talking more shit about AEW and how crappy it is.
Well, I'll tell you this. If you haven't had a chance, the new Animaniacs dropped on Friday. Pretty much all of season 1's available on Hulu. And you should watch it. It's really good. I like it.
Bye.
Bye.
We have guests next week with...
Next week, yes. Because remember, tomorrow, are we having a podcast Wednesday? Right?
Yes, we're having a podcast tomorrow. We're not. Tomorrow's our last podcast for the week.
Of the week. Okay.
Until Monday.
All right, so we got to make the most of it tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, so next Wednesday, we have Paul Lighting coming on, the voice actor for Max Tennyson from Ben 10, as well as several other characters, such as ones from Transformers, obviously, and I don't know. I just like Max Tennyson. So that's the one I ever care about.
And then next Friday we're bringing back Mr. Tom Ruger.
The return of Tom Ruger to discuss the Animaniacs reboot
and more Animaniacs story.
We can recount all that stuff, so we have to all watch that.
And also we're probably going to talk to them about the new Tiny Toons I got announced for HBO.
Right, we'll make an extra event so everybody can check it out. Make sure everybody checks it out. We'll advertise shit out. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Unfortunately, my nephew is being a pain in the butt. See you guys tomorrow.
All right, bye.